What's up, Young Academic 3? It's your favorite teacher, Sebastian. Yes, we are still working. Even though you're at home, I now can come to you via the computer. What a beautiful world we live in, right? I know you're excited, just like me. All right, let's get started. Open up your books to Listening and Speaking, page 14. Listening and Speaking, page 14, in the front of the book, all right? Today, we're talking about auxiliary verbs. Do, be, and have. I know you guys are probably already familiar, but we're just going to do this as a refresher just to make sure that you understand entirely, okay? Now, auxiliary verbs. What are they? Auxiliary verbs do, be, and have are used to make questions and negative statements. Okay? So let's look at the simple present, the first one here with the auxiliary verb do. We use do with the simple present and simple past. The simple present example that they give us, does he like pizza? And for the negative statement, he doesn't like pizza. Okay? And if we look at the simple past, just next to, did they bring their books? Did they bring their books? It's a question, yeah? And if we look just under there at the negative statement from the simple past, they didn't bring their books. They didn't bring their books. It's a statement, not a question. Moving on. We use be with the present and past continuous. So for present continuous, are you reading? Are you reading? That would be the question, yeah? And if we look just under at the negative statement, we aren't reading now. We aren't reading now. If we look over at the past continuous, look at the first example. Remember, past continuous. Was Mr. Knight teaching here last year? Was Mr. Knight teaching here last year? And if we move on to the negative statement, he wasn't teaching here last year. He wasn't teaching here last year. Moving on, we use have with the present perfect. Okay? So for the present perfect, the first example is, has she left yet? Has, present perfect, she left yet? And then the second example, the negative statement. Nancy hasn't left yet. Nancy hasn't left yet. Okay, guys, that should be a review for you. Hopefully you understand and we can move on from there. Alrighty guys, let's move on to activity A. I'll read the directions. Rewrite the sentences as negative statements. Use the correct form of do, be, or have as the auxiliary verb. Number one, they've done for you already. I often make snap judgments. And the negative statement would be, I don't often make snap judgments. Okay? Let's look at number two. Bill thinks first impressions about teachers are usually accurate. Now, how do we make that a negative statement? Bill doesn't think first impressions about teachers are usually accurate. Okay? Go ahead and finish the exercise, and we'll discuss it when we meet online. Alrighty guys, let's move on. Exercise B. Rewrite the sentences as questions. Use the correct form of do, be, or have as the auxiliary verb. Number 1. You have made many incorrect assumptions because of how someone looked. Made into a question, present perfect. Have you made many incorrect assumptions because of how someone looked? Okay? We're going to do number 2 and 3 together to make sure that you understand. Number 2. I like talking to new people on the phone. Now, what form is it? It's present simple. So with present simple, which auxiliary verb do we use? Do. Do you like talking to new people on the phone? Okay? Moving on to number 3. Darcy is living with people she met last year. Now, making that into a question, what form is this? Present continuous. So present continuous, which form are we going to be using? Is Darcy living with people she met last year? Go ahead, complete the rest of the exercise, and we'll discuss when we meet online. I am. What is the contraction? I'm. I apostrophe am. I am is I'm. She is. What's the contraction? She's. Yes. She apostrophe S. Okay? Moving on. Auxiliary verbs are usually unstressed and can be shortened as part of a contraction. Most contractions can be used in speech and informal writing, but some are only used in speech. I want you to remember that, everyone. Listen to these examples of contractions. Now, the first set of examples are used in speech or writing. First example, she's eating now. She's being the contraction of she is. Next example, they're watching TV. Contraction, they're for they are watching TV. Next one, Lisa's already left. Lisa's, the contraction is for Lisa has. Lisa has already left. Lisa's already left. Next one, we finished our work. We, contraction for we have finished our work. Okay, moving on. Contractions used only in speech. Only in speech. We do not write this way. If you write this way, you will be marked incorrect for this. Okay, we only say this when we're speaking to each other or in conversation. Okay, so what are the examples that they have here for us? What's it cost? The contraction is what does it cost? And we turn it to what's. Yeah?